Hi, everybody. I'm LJ Malberg with Compassionate Muse. I'm a coach, consultant, speaker, and trainer in compassion-based work strategies for the music industry. And I am also the curator and host of Mindfulness in Music series, an annual conference. Our conference is coming up on Friday, October 16th, all virtual, and you can get more information. I'll share the links with you later. But first, I'm very excited to introduce you to my friend, Corbett Redford. Hi, Corbett.
Hi, LJ.
Thank
Good
you
to see
so
you.
much for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. I want to do a little bit of an intro for you, and then maybe you can take our viewers into a deeper dive about you, maybe something they can't Google you on.
Sure.
Corbett is an actor and a director, and he's known for the documentary Turn It Around, the story of East Bay punk, as well as Neptune and Dr. Professor's Thesis of Evil. I know him from being in the band Bobby Joey Bola and the Children McNuggets.
That's what happens when you name your band when you're 18.
Punk rock band, we'll call it.
That's right. That's
okay.
right.
All right, excellent. Yeah. And Corbett is my friend from high school. I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining me on this.
No, of course. Coming from where we come from, you make your own fun, right? So I think,
Right.
it was like, okay, I'm gonna act, I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna direct, I'm gonna do anything I can to try to, make my world less so much about just this hometown, right? So I think creativity and art and it's opened up the world for me, as I think it has for you as well.
Yeah, it really has. This time at home has it's drawn my attention inward. I really do a lot of reflecting these days, and for that reason, I've become more creative. Man, I have been churning out content like nobody's business. It's just crazy, and for that, I'm super grateful. Even though I miss hugging people. And I miss traveling and seeing shows so much. And although some of these live stream concerts have been pretty good lately.
Yeah, no, folks are getting good at them.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I understand how they can do it so well with the technology. It's pretty fantastic. But no, I miss that whole kind of in-person experience so much. I mean, I think I've played over 2,000 shows in my life, all over the world, and suddenly to have it just, I mean, it's one industry that you don't see. You see folks talking about, the bars and the service industry that are struggling, but really the venues and the music industry is really, there hasn't been an emphasis, I think, enough of an emphasis on helping it. And that's such a huge infrastructure. There's so many people who right now are struggling, and I'm just thinking of all of them and hoping that help comes their way very soon.
Yeah, I hope you're right, Corbett. There are a lot of organizations out there like NIVA, the National Independent Venue Association, and other associations that have pulled together. And I believe Nancy Pelosi is leading the charge on this at this point.
Amy Klobuchar as well with Save Our Stages.
Great, that's great.
Yeah, there's a few things that are circulating, but I mean, coming from where we come from, trying to think of an interesting factoid about myself that might not be able to be Googled. I think that let's see, well, no, that's probably up there on Google as well. I think, I don't know. I think my life's an open book for the most part. I started being creative when I was 16. Many people might not know this. Turn It Around, the story of East Bay Punk was the first film I ever made. And I had co-directed music videos and, produced albums before, but I had never made a film before. And
Amazing.
So to be tapped by the Green Day guys I don't even know. I made a book. Bobby Joey Bola, my band, published 2 books a few years back, and one of them was called the Bobby Joey Bola Songbook. And there were, it's like a 200-page book where we had 40 different artists illustrate our songs, and we put the lyrics and the chords in the book. And I think Billy and the guys from Green Day had always seen that I had, be it festivals or be it these extravagant videos on small budgets, or even that book, they had saw that I could take a lot of moving parts and a lot of and bring things together, bring very complex things together. And this
You are
film,
definitely a visionary. I just saw the film. No smoke blown, man. I just saw the film a few weeks back.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see that you made this, that you created something like this, and it was fun to see Billy and the gang and Tim. Who I used to serve coffee to back in the day at Just Desserts.
Nice. Oh, Albany.
And it was like, but the way that you put the story together, like it was, it really was a beautiful flow. You're an amazing storyteller. And
thank you very much.
I love all of the parts of the film that you were able to pull in, the different medium components that you were able to pull in with the fun animation transitions, and of course the music. But mainly, and I really want to get into this with you for today's conversation, the importance of the people. You could tell on all of these interviews that people, there was such a visceral feeling when they were talking about the scene back in the 90s and
sure.
The Gilman and everything, the ongoings there, but really more, it was more, yes, it was a little bit to do with the Gilman, but it was really more about the community of people, and the community lived where the people lived, right? Where people came together. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people ask me, did Green Day navigate, or were they very hands-on? Do they have a lot of rules for you as producers, as executive producers? And I tell them no. At the beginning, Billy and I had a discussion, and we kind of set 3 ground rules. One of them was all voices heard, meaning diverse voices, not just some white dude party, make sure that all the people who did the work, not just the people who were on stage with their voices amplified and the light on them, but the people who are making zines and promoting and putting the shows together. That's what Gilman's about. Gilman is about a volunteer idea that the audience is as important as the performer, right? Everybody is key to making this kind of thing work. So it was all voices heard, to be inclusive. Don't get bogged down in the acrimony. We could stay on the backbiting forever. Let's talk about people's contributions. And the third one was why am I drawing a blank? All voices heard. Don't get bogged down in the acrimony, and you can edit this out, I'm sure.
It'll come to you. I know it will. Well,
yeah.
No worries at all. But I love what you were saying about inclusivity. That really is aligned with mindfulness.
I remembered it.
Music. Oh, great. What is it?
I remember. It's don't focus on nostalgia and mystify nostalgia so much that you make somebody watching this believe that they missed some sort of train, some sort of whatever you do now can be as important and vital and vibrant as what was done then. So don't it's like and that was where the people thing came in, was that these are all people just like you, no matter the acclaim or fame that they've kind of made for themselves. The idea was to demystify nostalgia in a way. I mean, obviously you're making a 3-hour movie about an esoteric history. I mean, it's all nostalgia, right? But don't make it seem like this kind of magical thing, make it seem like something that you could do now if you got together with you know, a diverse group of people, you could do something just as wonderful. So
I love that. I love that so much.
And that's
Yeah.
why it really came when you're saying this, that it's about the people. That you really got it. I mean, you're from here, you know, you get it, you know, from our region, you know, and you know the importance of that. But that's really what we emphasized, was that, you know, we have, you know, people like you know, Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses and Kirk Hammett making appearances, you know. It's Kathleen Hanna, you know, Miranda July. These are all very accomplished people, you know. But when they started talking about those times, somehow they just become a kid again. They just become so there's this sense of normalcy, you know. And I was on the other side of the camera every time. I was talking to each of these people. We interviewed over 100 people. We gathered over 500 hours of interview footage. It took us 5 years to make. You know, 50,000 photos and flyers in our archive, over 3,000, you know, legal forms and releases, and you know, I basically became a paralegal to do this, you know.
It's your side hustle.
Yeah. But really, no, it's we were talking, you know, before we started here a bit about it, and I think this is a kind of a good segue into talking about it again. But you know, that first rule, the why diversity, why inclusivity, and the first thing I would tell somebody who's even questioning why would be, well, from a marketing perspective, you're actually looking at, by including, you know, other perspectives and other stories, you're probably increasing your ability for people to consume whatever it is that you're putting out there, you know. But I really truly believe that movies and music and things like this, this is you know, us echoing the human condition. This is us responding to the human condition, right? Yeah. And if you can't watch a movie about somebody that isn't like you and still get something from it, well, then there's a deeper issue, you know. Now that there's all of these TV shows and this music coming out, you know, by right now, that all stories that I guess would be considered alternate stories to the main kind of feed we've been given in the society, it's exciting because you're seeing new stuff. You're seeing, you know, for years, for decades, people have been, you know, calling out Hollywood like another remake of another film, you know. Well, the more you open up the gates and you destroy the gatekeepers, the more, you know, new stories you're going to get, you know, from women and people of color and the LGBT, you know, community, and forgetting some letters there. But I honestly, it's an exciting time for storytelling and for art and music, I believe.
Yes, I agree. The film, you said a lot, and I fully, I get what you're saying in terms of destroying the gatekeeper to allow for even more creativity. I feel like if you stay on the side of creativity,
yes, that
itself destroys the gatekeeper, that there doesn't necessarily need to be even any insinuation of violence. Me being a peaceful activist,
sure,
you know,
sure.
I really believe that taking our power back as creatives,
yes.
By owning our creativity and thinking outside the box, and keeping ourselves on the side of creativity, automatically destroys
yes.
the box, if you will, and or at least weakens a lot of the sides. It creates room for so many more conversations.
Completely agree. Yeah, I mean, the idea of destroying it, it doesn't have to be volatile. You just have to be who you are, and to be creative, like you said. Everyone says, well, during this time, there's so much, duress in the world, and so much chaos, and what's next, and it's going to be people would say it's going to be a great time for punk music because of the political climate. And I started thinking to myself, is it though? We all feel a bit squashed at times these days, and I think it doesn't have to be punk music. That's something that the Green Day guys really understand, is that maybe it's a SoundCloud rapper, maybe it's a performance artist, maybe it's punk is what you make it. It isn't just loud, snotty music. Kathleen Hanna says something to that point in our film. It's really just about saying, this is me. I'm going to do this.
Owning who you are.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Completely and totally.
Beautiful.
And so many other forms of art, art, film, and music, do the same thing. It's I really believe that it's an exciting time right now, in spite of how hard things are, to navigate in the world.
Yeah. Thank you, Corbett. That's amazing.
Pardon me, I can be a bit of a blab trap.
No, not at all. No, I'm just so grateful to you for putting out such a spectacular piece of work into the world. And it sounds like you had an amazing team of support helping you along the way. 5 years.
Yes.
It's just incredible work, especially your first film. What a feat.
We could have done something that was not almost 3 hours long and only focused on the famous people. And we didn't. And that was very shocking to a lot of people, I think, to see that Green Day would support something like that. But it wasn't shocking to the people who know them, who know that they were there, playing benefits when somebody would get hurt, or when a store or a magazine or a venue would need help. Back in the early 90s,
Right.
Late 80s. We all knew that. It wasn't when they were playing our backyards, or dating our friends, and so we could have done something that was a lot more kind of snappy, I guess. And really what we wanted to do was to honor the community, and to honor a lot of these people. They didn't become famous, and all they have are their sacred stories, so it was very important to make sure that, and a lot of these people, they hadn't seen Green Day or heard about them since they got big, and so there were these kind of walls, of like, well, are they these corporatist kind of, are they going to make a kind of, monolithic narrative that just supports, them and things like this. And so when people eventually saw it, they're like, wow, that was like, you're talking about somebody who was like sweeping the floor, and you're not, I want more Green Day, but then there's the other people who watch it and go, wow, I learned about so many bands I didn't know about, or I didn't know that this person was connected to that scene, or, and then what I really hoped to do was to make people feel like, I wanted to demystify the aura of unattainability around the idea. It's the gatekeeper thing again. I really wanted to show that this was a group of young people and old people who got together and found each other, and wound up making something that had an impact on the world.
You did it, my friend.
Thank you.
You did a beautiful job. I love what you were saying about, I love what you're saying about including everyone in this film, that it wasn't just famous people. I know, just speaking from my experience in curating these conferences, it's always been very important to me to have a panel of people speaking, to give the microphone to people from all different stages of their careers. So not just somebody who did it, somebody who's still doing it, and somebody who just started doing it, somebody who's doing it from a Black perspective, from an Asian perspective, somebody from the LGBTQ community who's doing it. Let's hear from everybody, because that way our audience feels like they've got a voice up there that they're listening to. And I really did feel that when I was watching your film.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. It was hard because, we had our line producer and our online editor and, but not our line producer, our associate producer. And, there were women and people of color on board, but, the writer director combo was me and Anthony Marchitello, and we're, I'm, part, Mexican, but I'm also, I'm also white, and a dude, a heteronormative kind of dude, and so is Anthony. So here we were, navigating like the entrance of Riot Grrrl into Gilman, and we were presented with suddenly, like, there were some women that were telling us that they didn't like that kind of feminism coming into Gilman, because they already felt acceptance and they didn't feel the need for this militant thing. And here we were going, oh God, we're just like, we're just white dudes, like why we have to be really careful about not presenting this as some sort of, I guess, cat fight or something. But it was very important to some of these women that it be known that they weren't immediately accepting of the Riot Grrrl movement when it came to Gilman. So that was a difficult thing to navigate. And so do you remember that scene in the film?
I do. And I vaguely remember the scene. And I appreciate the fact that you are self-aware enough, that you and Anthony are self-aware enough to take the time to understand everybody's perspectives. Because even if action can't be changed, just the fact that you understand where everybody's coming from allows you to make different decisions if you can. And if you aren't aware, then it's just like, then you're just blindly, you're just sleepwalking through the process and you're just going to do what you do. And it's very off-putting to a lot of people. You're
choosing a narrative that best fits with your own,
right.
And that we could have very easily done that, it was, I think we were just very careful about navigating some of these stories, Tribe 8's entrance and Pansy Division and, the queer community coming into Gilman. It was very much so, we would run it by our queer friends, people. We had so much help. We really had so much help with this. Going up and doing all these interviews as the director of this thing, it's obviously, with like large projects, it really isn't about a figurehead, really. It's about all the people who help make it happen.
That's right. It's magic. It's about the magic. And that only comes with people coming together.
And there was so much of that in making this film. Pieces just fell into place where we would go, what comes next? And suddenly we would just know,
Yeah.
And it's like, it was all there right in front of us if we were open to seeing it, 5 years is a long time to work on a project, and coming out of it at the other end, I was a new dad and everything was different. And I just really, I'm so happy that people are getting what we tried to make, in that it was really about inclusivity, and it was about denying the gatekeepers and basically saying, I don't need to ask permission for what I want to do creatively. I can learn how to do something, and I can be that. I don't have to go through your gamut. I don't have to run through your training course to be what I want to be. I can just do it. Thought plus action equals progress. You know, it's like, you know, you're not
So
going to.
empowering.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where can people learn more about your work?
Well, they can Google Corbett Redford, 2 T's, no E, like Smurfette, on Google. You know, BobbyJoyBola.com has a link to the discography of songs and music videos I've made over the course of my life. Turn It Around is available on pretty much all streaming formats. You can rent it or buy it. Yeah, it's I'm out there in the internet ether. So
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for joining me. This is
thank you,
wonderful.
LJ. Thank you.
It really is such a pleasure to reconnect with you again, and to hear about what you're up to and all the creativity that you have put out into the world. And thank you so much. And to everyone who's watching this, please do check out this film. It is a masterpiece, and I enjoyed every moment of it, not just for nostalgia reasons, because I know some of these folks from my childhood, but just because the importance of such an intentional, inclusive, mindful scene that was quite diverse, surprisingly so, and wonderfully so. And so be sure to go check that out. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a conference coming up. Be sure to check us out at mindfulnessinmusic.com for more information. Our keynote conversation speaker is Kevin Lyman, who is the founder of Warped Tour. And so if you are familiar with the punk rock, longest touring punk rock festival in the US, Kevin Lyman will be talking with me on February 16th, as well as many, many, many other amazing speakers from all facets of the music industry. Please do join us. And with that, I will say goodbye, and compassion rocks, my friends. See you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.